So, you have a maid who complains that somebody's breaking into her room at night. She complains of noises in the attic. You hear the noises in your own attic. You find newspapers from a city 40 miles away. You're finding tracks in the snow leading to your house but not away from it. You lose a set of house keys. So instead of doing anything else, what do? You hire another maid. Good job. You did exactly the logical next step in this story, which is to hire another maid. Because God, the most horrific thing is about to happen to you. But God damn it if my house is dirty. What the fuck? Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have in where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280, okay?
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget. What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we uncover the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm your head chef, Joe, and as always, I'm accompanied by my sous chef, Josh, the Cryptid Killer.
Yes.
And today, we got another unsolved murder, true crime, if you will, because when there's unsolved murders, you need the boys in the Conspiracy Kitchen, right, to sift through those ingredients and actually find the killer. Right, when no one else can, we're going to be the ones to let you know.
That's correct. Not only do we make delicious chowder, but we also uncover cold case murders.
Yep, absolutely. Without a doubt. And today we're going to do I don't know if anyone's heard about it, any of our German listeners maybe. They probably have heard about it, right? Anywhere else, maybe not. I don't think I've really... Have you heard about this before we discussed it?
No, this is brand new to me.
It was brand new to me too. And that's the Hinterkaifeck Murders at the Hinterkaifeck farmstead in Germany, just outside of Munich. Pretty gruesome murders, right? Pretty, really bad.
Extremely brutal is probably how I would put it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I know who did it, but we'll get to after I go over all the details. I'll let you know, right? Okay. So we got the main victims here. We got Andres Gruber. He was 63 years old. He was the farmer. He was the main farmer on the farm who ran it. Then we had his wife, Kasila Gruber. She was 72, a little older. Cougar for him, I guess. His wife, she was on the farm, right? Then we had Victoria Gabriel, widow, 35 years old. She was their daughter, two of their daughters. And then with her, we had her daughter, Kasila, named after her grandmother. She was 7 years old. We had Joseph, 2 years old, and the maid, Maria Baumgartner, 44 years old. All right, the new maid. It was kind of a bad day for her. Yeah, very new. Right? So leading up to the murders, there's a bunch of odd things going on for probably 6-7 months. Right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, if this shit's going on for that long in my house, I'm not just going to ignore it. I don't know. How about you, Josh? I'm not ignoring all the stuff going on. But leading up to it, all those strange things start happening. And it starts with Crescentia. Sorry if you're German and I butcher any of these names. I'm sorry. Crescentia. She's the maid that quits in early September 1921. Few months before the murders, 6 or 7 months before the murders happened. She started in November 1921. Almost a year she was there. She said she quit because of strange noises coming from the attic. She would hear footsteps, shuffling about, and muffled voices. Also, she stated in an interview that around midnight, when she was in her bedroom, she slept with her door locked. The door unlocked and opened up. I'm quitting too, right? I'm getting the fuck out. She said she always felt like she was being watched. And then later interviews like when she redid interviews back later on in like the 50s, she mentioned it being like a haunting. Early on though, which was like she changed her story a little bit here. So early on, right after the murders happened, she focused on more like practical fears. Unwanted advances from men who were seasonal employees of the farm. She did not mention Andreas as any of them, though, that were kind of going after her for, some kind of sexual activity. She did mention a guy named Anton. I guess that's Beechler. I don't know. And he did threaten the whole family. She did mention this guy said that the whole family should be dead. Oh. And she was also uncomfortable with family dynamics. So we'll get into that a little later, though. But yeah, again, in the late 50s, 1950s, her story changed to more of a haunting experience. Like she was mentioning, it's like paranormal, I was being haunted or whatever. And then these noises continued after she left. Because then we have other, family members mentioning stuff going on. You were going to say something, don't Josh, when I mentioned something on here? The bedroom door opening, I think.
Yeah, look, if you have a maid, all right, and she comes to you and says, "Hey, Mr. Gruber, I'm hearing shit in the attic, my door that I lock is unlocking and opening while I'm trying to sleep. Something's amiss." And he couldn't be any less interested. He doesn't look into it at all.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you want to raise or something? What the fuck's going on here?
What's a farm? What are you going to do? Like, no, look into it a little, you dickhead.
No.
Fuck.
No, and that's his demise. Well, I guess he looks into it a little bit, but he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. Yeah. And she quits because, obviously, I'm quitting too. Are you quitting, Josh?
Well, yeah, I'm not. For starters, I'm not going to work on a weird farm in Germany. But
no.
The second I'm hearing noises in the attic and my employer doesn't want to acknowledge them, I'm fucking gone, bro. Like, well, I can handle myself, but she's a frail little woman. So
if you were her, you're quitting.
If I were her, yeah, I'm fucking out the door.
Yeah, like if you were Josh, the cryptic killer, and that door opened at midnight, whatever opened that door at midnight was dead, right?
Fucking obliterated. But you also got to understand this. So if you go back and listen to our old episodes about World War II and Germany, the Germans were very fearful people of the occult and things of that ilk. So for her to think like, oh, this place is haunted, it's not just like a little thing. She's fucking mortified.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so she's fucking out of there. She bailed. Rightfully so.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. But you would have stayed, and you would have saved the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, yeah. You should have been their bodyguard.
I should have. They fucked up. I also wasn't born yet, but they fucked up.
Yeah, they did fuck up. So, skipping ahead a couple months now, we're going to go to mid-March 1922. A few months after the maid left, and the same month that the murders take place. So, a little strange thing happens here. Andres finds a copy of the Munich Zeitung. Zeitung, right? Tung? It's a Munich newspaper. The Münchner, right? I don't know. How do you pronounce that? The Münchner Zeitung. How about that?
Yeah, right? It's good, pretty good.
The Munich newspaper on his property. Now, strange thing is, they're not in Munich, and they do not subscribe to that newspaper. They subscribe more to a newspaper called the Schrobenhauser. Sounds pretty good. No one else in the area, none of his neighbors or anyone, subscribed to that Munich paper. They live in, I guess, this area. The paper's from this the Wochenblatt, right? Scheitenhauser Rosenblatt paper. I don't know, whatever it is. It's not the Munich paper. That's the point I'm getting at here.
Look, it's a paper from the city, and they subscribe to the farmers' Farmer's Rural Gazette, okay?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, not the big city paper, the farmer's paper. That makes sense. And then later on when they asked the postman, Joseph Meyer, there's a lot of Josephs in this, by the way. Joseph Meyer, he confirmed he did not deliver the newspaper. So, where's this newspaper come from? Just randomly on his farm. Have any ideas here?
Possibly someone from Munich.
Maybe the person's from Munich, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Could
only...
be a possibility.
Munich is only 43 miles away from where they are.
Yeah, so we're looking at like an hour drive or so. Hour or so drive, right? A little over an hour, hour and a half, depending on traffic. I don't know what traffic's like in Germany.
How slow were the cars back then?
In the 20s, yeah, that's also true. They're probably not doing 65 on the highway, right? Miles per hour.
No,
not
they got to slow down. They're hitting 15.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a trip. 43 miles. It's a trip. So this paper didn't blow there in the wind.
No.
It was brought with someone. Now, was it placed as a calling card or as a forewarning of things to come?
I don't know. I feel like it's more just lazy.
You think he was sloppy?
Losing
The murderer was
track.
sloppy.
Yeah. Just losing track of his shit.
Just lets the paper fly around. He was reading the paper that day, wanted to know the future weather, right? Before committing the murders, and just left it.
Yeah.
Right? They put the weather, I guess, future weather in the 1920s in the newspaper, right? Maybe.
How? I mean, realistically, if you're putting the weather in the newspaper, you could only do past tense.
Because they don't predict the weather in the 1920s.
No. All I could do is stand outside like, oh, I'm feeling a chill. It might snow or it might rain. We don't know.
I feel like they could a little bit predict the weather.
Like, if you guys
the
have
Nazis
any
had weather
knowledge
stations, but that is 20 years later.
Like, if you guys have any knowledge of how they predicted the weather in the 20s, please let us know, because I'm genuinely curious.
I think it was the same way, right? They didn't use Doppler radar?
Who has Doppler radar in 1922?
Maybe they didn't. But, I don't know. He was looking at the newspaper for some reason. He left it behind like a complete schmuck. Lazy. Fuck. All right, let's get past that. So, later in March, just days before the murders, right, footprints in the snow, freshly made footprints, I should say, leading from the woods, the tree line on the woods on the side of the farm, to the machine shed, were discovered by our boy, Andres, the father, the farmer. And what was funny about it was that there was no footprints leading out of the shed. So he opened the door to the shed, and he sees the snow was brought into the shed, so he knows that, freshly done, his footprints are in here. There's some tools missing. The lock was broken off the shed door, smashed right off, but no one's in the shed. Right, so now you would think, the paranormal thing might be true, right? We got the other woman saying hauntings, and now we got a mysterious footprints leading into the shed and not leaving the shed. Kind of odd, right? I mean, I think I know what's going on there and why that's like that, but because when I get into like the whole setup of how the barn and the house is laid out, I think it's easier to understand why there was no footprints leaving the shed.
I also have my theory, and I'll get into it a little later on, but go on.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but leading to the shed, broken off, the lock's broken off, tools missing and stuff. And again, he doesn't care. Why hasn't he reported this? Anyway.
Yeah.
After this, we get multiple nights of attic noises. Footsteps. Shuffling about. Just random movement. Now, at this point, Andre says, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go check the attic. He goes into the attic with his lantern, looks around, finds nothing. Victoria, at the same time, his daughter, also reports strange noises coming from the attic. And like I said before, this leads to, again, the paranormal side, right? People thinking the paranormal, like the Bell Witch, even though we know the Bell Witch was just actually the daughter, which we mentioned. If you guys didn't listen to the Bell Witch episode, that was our last episode. That was another murder that was actually blamed officially on a ghost, or entity, I guess, if you will. But we found out who actually did it. So if you want the full breakdown on that, last week's episode, I guess, or the episode right before this one, has the full breakdown on the Bell Witch. But this is where the layout of the house comes into play, and why I don't think it's paranormal. So, I don't know if you know this, Josh, but the attic was open to the barn. It was a connected corridor from the upstairs attic in the house, a long corridor that ran to the barn, connected the two structures, and was used as hay storage in the barn, on the barn side. So, if you get in the barn, all you had to do was climb a ladder to the right of the door, inside the barn, go up into the second level, and then walk around the hay storage, and then there's a long corridor that walked right into your house. Right over there. Perfect access to the fucking house. And into the attic. Terrible. Absolutely terrible design.
Dog shit.
Terrible. Is this something you would do at your house, Josh?
No.
You wouldn't just let the attic be open to the barn next door?
For what? No. There's no reason I could fathom that I need to get to my barn through my attic or vice versa. I'm never in that much of a hurry to, like, I'm in the attic going through boxes, like, oh shit, I gotta feed the cows. I'll just go through the wall. Like, no, it's fucking go downstairs like an adult. Fucking lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, so that's something that doesn't make any sense to me. And then when I was mentioning the shed was directly adjacent to the barn. And the shed did have its own little storage. Now, it wasn't huge. You couldn't stand up fully in it. But you can get out of the shed through the upstairs storage area, which was hay, was up there. Slip into the barn. And then from there, obviously, you had full access to the house. Dumb. Absolutely terrible design. I can't stress this enough. Not very bright.
No.
Not very bright, to say the least. And then to get on top, to add to this, those same days with the movements and the noise and the shed broken into and everything, guess what? A set of the house keys go missing. So this is a few days before the murder. A set of the house keys go missing. If I were them, and not a buff Ovaltine drinker, if I were them, I'm changing the locks.
Yep.
The house keys are missing. Might as well put. No, that's all right. This guy, if he used if he had any type of effort put forth or cared about anything at all, even a little bit, he'd still be alive, I feel.
I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna recap a little.
Okay.
So you have a maid who complains that somebody's breaking into her room at night. She complains of noises in the attic. You hear the noises in your own attic. You find newspapers from a city 40 miles away. You're finding tracks in the snow leading to your house but not away from it. You lose a set of house keys. So instead of doing anything else, what do? You hire another maid. Good job. You did exactly the logical next step in this story, which is to hire another maid. Because God, the most horrific thing is about to happen to you. But God damn it if my house is dirty. What the fuck?
It's absolutely true. You couldn't have said it any better. That is... you don't hire, maybe skip the maid and hire security. Just a security guard. You know what I mean? Maybe do anything else. Anything else but hire another maid, right? Yeah, well, there's no, just hire a maid. Get a fucking dog. You know what I mean? Like, anything else should have been done.
Maybe seal up the hole. Seal up the hole that's leading from the barn into the attic. You fucking animal. Like, what's the matter with you? It's your house. Oh, I feel a draft, dear. Yeah, there's a hole in our house, you fucking asshole. The fuck?
Dude, when I was reading this and I read all about all the shit going on, and basically he does nothing about it, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, you're right. The worst thing in the entire world is about to happen to you and your whole family. You will be massacred.
He's the most killable person imaginable.
This is one of those times where natural selection does run its course, right? And
absolutely.
Because, to be honest, I mean, is it bad to say that? But like, am I being mean? I mean, these people have been dead for a while.
No.
Is it all right now?
No, it really was a right place, right time kind of scenario for this piece of shit. His family didn't deserve it, but he sure did. Anyway,
yeah, we'll get into that later. Right, but yeah, it's just stupidity. And then he tells the neighbors. He told the neighbors what was going on. The neighbors are like, well, maybe we should call the cops. No, I don't feel like it. Do you need help from us? No, I'm all right. I'm just letting you know what's going on. What kind of a fucking idiot? Okay, you are not Josh. You're not Buff, right? Obviously not. Like, Josh would have been like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm leaving. I'm letting you have my house keys, because then when you come in the house using my house keys, you're going to die, right? That's what Josh would do. This guy is a bumbling moron.
He's a fucking
nitwit.
63-year-old German farmer who's just hiring maids when he should be changing the lock. And God damn it, bro.
Be cheaper to change the lock.
Cheaper to put a fucking light in your attic. You see more people in there.
Yeah, you don't see what's going on. Anyway, and like this next part, like this is night of March 29th into morning of March 30th. This is the day before the murders. The most intense attic noises are heard at this time, both reported by Andres and Victoria. They claim they couldn't sleep due to how loud the attic noises were. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm not even attempting to sleep. Dude, I am finding out what the fuck is in my attic. No, it's the fucking noises in the attic again. Just pull the covers over your fucking head. Try to get to some sleep. And the other thing I don't understand is, if you notice this, no one ever mentions that his wife says that she hears the noises. I haven't found any, unless you have found it. I've never found anything from her stating that she heard the noises. I've only heard them say Andres and Victoria hear the noises.
No,
Do you have any?
I've never heard of
obviously
his
the
wife
first
saying anything. Yeah, well, I've never heard of his wife saying anything. There's no recollection of it at all.
Yeah, they never say, like, she never told anyone, I guess. The husband never said, oh, my wife's heard. It's always Victoria and him. So
she may have been a battered housewife.
It's possible. It's possible. So these noises are so loud they can't sleep. And according to them, it sounds like heavy objects being moved around in the attic, along with walking, shuffling, footsteps, heavy objects being moved. Again, our boy goes up into the attic to investigate with a lantern and says he sees nothing. How is that possible?
I think, and I'm going to get more into this later, I think he's blind.
Just straight blind.
Just straight blind. It's the only logical explanation.
He keeps going up there and nothing's going on?
Yeah. He went up there several times and found nothing.
And you hear shuffling. You hear, now at this point, it sounds like large objects being shoved around in the attic. And you go up there and you're like, nothing's going on here. Now, did he notice something move? He said he didn't see anyone. Oh, this fucking trunk's on the other side of the room, but no one's up here, so everything's fine. There must be nothing going on. Fucking, like I'm saying, dude, moron, right? And an interesting little tidbit I wanted to add here, which I will discuss later when I get into suspects. Victoria was said to have had a violent fight with her father and fled into the woods for several hours this same night, to return later after a few hours. And this was brought up by her daughter's friend in school during interviews. Just thought I'd throw that out there. It's a little strange, right, Josh? Maybe.
How did the friend know about it?
I guess the daughter told. I don't know. This is what I found in the thing. This is the day before. So the next day, she went to school.
Oh, I thought it was the night of the murder.
No, this is the day before.
Okay, I was gonna say it's a rural area. What did she text her? Like, no.
No, this is the day before. This is the day before the murders. The night before.
Okay.
It was the night of into the morning of March 30th. March 30th is the day. Then March 31st. It's actually 2 days before, really. Like
I know what the argument was. I could tell you what it was. The argument was her yelling at her father, "What do you mean there's no one in the attic, you fucking idiot? You were just up there, and shit was being moved."
And the house locks are not changed.
Yeah. Why are we getting a maid tomorrow and not a
And this could be
police
the reason,
officer?
right? This could be the reason for this. What they do the next morning, the fight, right? The locks aren't changed. All the shit's moving because the next morning, March 31st, the day. This is the day. From the morning to about early afternoon, Andres and Victoria went shopping in Schrobenhausen, some other town, I guess. I don't know. It sounds like a town. They went shopping there for a long time, almost all day. Maybe they're trying to find a new set of locks for the house. What do you think, Josh? Could that be possible?
That or a bigger lantern, for fuck's sake.
Something to see? So they can see it. Because I'm assuming they don't have any electricity. Obviously, 1920s. I think rural America. I think 1920s. Even rural America, it wasn't. I think like 70% of households had power in the 1920s, and they were still rolling out rural. And Germany might have been lagging behind or something. I'm not 100% sure, but there's no electricity. Right? He's up there with a lantern. He don't see shit. Maybe look. Right? Maybe look around.
Yeah, look for more than 32 seconds. Asshole.
He just popped his head up in the attic and said, "Oh, no one's here," and came back down. Doesn't even walk towards the barn. Maybe the guy's in the barn now. I don't know. To me, the guy's fucking cocky as shit. I mean, he doesn't care if he's making noise, right?
No.
Whoever
He don't give a fuck.
He don't give a fuck. But so yeah, they're in town all day, and this is the worst day to start a new job too, by the way, because this is the day that around 4:30 p.m. Maria Baumgartner arrived on the farm with her sister, Franziska Schaefer. Schaefer, that's a funny name, right?
Hmm.
Something to do with Nazis on that, but
well,
she married into the Nazi family, I guess. But yeah, she was the new maid. Maria was the new maid. After about an hour, her sister left. She got lucky, huh? Didn't want to stay the night.
Did she?
Fuck this. And yeah, so Maria arrives only hours before the murders take place. She arrives at 4:30. The murders start around 8-9 p.m. And I can get into the murders now. I guess we can get into them because now we're up to the point that the murders happened. And I just want to give you guys a warning. It's pretty graphic what happens to these people. So yeah, listener discretion. Just to let you know, I'm gonna get into detail a little bit here. Pretty gruesome. So I think whoever did the murders. I mean, if I were Andres, I'd think this. I would, because of everything going on. But whoever did these murders was probably hiding in the attic of the barn hay storage, right? They were probably living in this fucking area because you see the footprints come into the shed, break the shed. I don't think that guy ever left. I don't think he ever left. I think he got from the shed into the barn, and then he stayed in the barn. And he lived up, and he was moving shit around. I gotta make this my home, right? Shoving shit around, fucking sleeping up there, moving around, getting all cozy up there in the fucking shed, or in the attic between the barn. So I think he was hiding up there. Now, Andres was the first to get killed. I believe he was most likely stepping out before bed to go tend to the animals in the barn to check on them, right? Perhaps he heard one of the animals in distress, but I think he was going out to it's like 9 o'clock, because he's found in his night clothes. So I think he just would one last check, and yeah, he's gone. So he sustained severe blunt force trauma to the right side of his head. His face was described as being smashed. His cheekbones were actually through the skin, and his skin was pretty much shredded off his face. skull fractured, and he was reportedly, like, when they did the autopsy, he pretty much died instantly. No idea what happened. The second was his wife. Now, I don't know if maybe she probably was like, he's taking a little while out there. What's going on, right, Josh? Let me go check on the old man, see if he didn't fall or anything, break his hip. She entered to check on him. She got multiple wounds, around 8, to the right side of her head again. Now, remember I was saying, like, the ladder's on the right side of this barn to get to the attic. Right, so I think they came in the door and were just blindsided.
Yeah.
And he didn't even, he might not, the killer probably didn't even know who was coming in. It didn't matter. They're dying, right? So, right side of the head, 8 to 9 times, cracking the skull, and then there were signs of strangulation on her. The autopsy said she died quickly, but was not instantly. She kind of knew what was going on at that point. For a little bit anyway, just a split second. And then we have the daughter, Victoria. She was next. Maybe she went to go check on her parents. Maybe she heard some struggling, because remember, like I said, she didn't die instantly, right? So she might have made some noise or did something. And Victoria goes to possibly check on, see what was going on with her mother or anything. She had 9 star-shaped wounds to the right side of her head, right? She had the star-shaped. I guess he switched the side of the pickaxe. The murder weapon was a pickaxe. I forgot exactly what they called it.
It's a mattock.
Mattock. But it's like a pickaxe, like, instrument,
Essentially. Yeah, essentially just a pickaxe.
So, she had 9 star-shaped wounds to the right side of her head, skull shattered, blunt force trauma to the head, after death. So this one seemed a little more personal. So after she died, it was blunt force trauma, and then strangulation, according to the autopsy. Post-death. To me, that's a personal attack, right? That's pretty personal.
Very.
The other ones were just murdered. She was murdered and then had shit happen to her after death. And here's where, this is where it kind of sucks. And her daughter comes out. Now, like I was saying, if you have kids or you've dealt with kids around this age 7, they're very curious, right? No matter what I do, even if I'm like, just stay here, wait a minute. They always want to come and see what I'm fucking doing, right? So she was probably like, what's going on with mommy? What's she doing out there? She comes out. Now, she probably had it the worst. She probably saw finishing, like, the strangulation or something after that. She had severe blunt force trauma to the lower head, and her jaw was shattered. And hers is not biased to the right side. Like, the other 3 were biased to the right side of the attack, so that makes me think that they were blindsided from the side. That's what I was looking at. I didn't see them mention it, but just looking at the autopsy of the bodies having right side bias, I feel like they were ambushed from the side. She didn't have that. She had it straight on. So he was already out. The killer was already out, which makes you think that she saw something. He caught him, and he was like, well, I got to get rid of a witness. You know what I mean? So her lower jaw was completely shattered. She had big gaping wounds on her neck and face. And they believe she lived multiple hours after the attack. And the evidence for this is that she had clumps of her own hair in her hands and bald spots. She was actually, like, pulling her hair out. They were saying because of the agony and the pain of the attack. While she was alive, the 4 bodies were then dragged with the daughter. They were moved and stacked, and then covered in hay in the barn. But like I was saying, the splatter, the blood splatter from the like the crime scene stuff corroborates a sequential killing. Like, it was one after the other, along with the right side bias that I was talking about. And they had no defensive wounds, none of them. So that makes me also think that they were jumped from the side. Some people speculate, that could mean that they knew the person, but I feel like after the first person, it doesn't matter if you know the person. You know what I mean? That person's dead. I'm going to try to defend myself, not just stand there. Hey, what's going on, kid? Why is he dead over there? What'd you do? You know what I mean? Oh, I know you, though. It couldn't have been you. No, I think they were all broadsided from the right side. The ladder was on the right side of the door that led into it, and that's where he was going into the attic and down, and he broadsided from the side and from the hiding position and murdered all 4 of them in the barn. Drugged their bodies and covered them, which, like, to me, like, something like that leads to he knew them. The way that Victoria was killed too, it seems personal. Extremely personal.
It seems personal, but I don't know. Maybe he knew them in a way that somebody watching them for fucking like
Yeah.
5 months would know someone.
That's true too. I guess no matter, even if it was someone, a stranger per se, if he was living with them basically like a rat, first 5-6 months, I guess he gets to know them, gets to know their, the ways, their routines and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess. I mean, would a stranger want to just walk into and live in the attic? I don't know. Maybe it could be.
It's happened.
So I think after this, because there's still 2 more people, obviously, he probably moved to the house can't have any witnesses, right? Like, I don't know. Do you think he meant to kill the daughter? That was up in the air to me. Like, I don't really think. I think that was like, oh shit, I got to do something now. She saw this, and then he's like, all right, let's just finish this off now. I got to get it. So he goes into the house, gets the remaining. So you got Joseph, the 2-year-old son. And this one's just like, it was one swift, blunt hit to the head while he slept in his crib. And then he covered Joseph with his mother's dress. And that's where they found him. And then Maria, I don't know what the fuck she's doing, right, at this point. But she was killed in her bed. She had cross blows to the head on both sides. And then she was covered with the bed sheets. What the fuck is Maria? I feel like if someone comes in the house and, I don't know, do you not hear? I mean, I guess it'd be like, oh, well, maybe the kid, it was just the mother putting the kid in the bed. Like, what? I feel like that would make a noise that you're like, what the fuck was that? No, just lay in bed. Another one. Self-preservation skills at 0.
Yeah. No fight or flight, just fucking freeze. But no,
just lay in bed.
Like, yeah. She had a long day. She worked fucking 4 hours. She's probably really tired. But no, I feel like if you're... I hate to put it this way, but I can't say it any other way. If you're killing a 2-year-old with an axe, I feel like the one hit would be pretty silent. Like, you'd hear the thud, but you're not going to hear much else. Maybe she stayed in bed, she woke up a little like, oh, what was that? And then just didn't bother to get up.
Maybe she was already asleep.
Yeah, she could have been out cold because of her long, hard work day.
See, she probably didn't hear anything in the barn. I mean, I feel like the 7-year-old who was alive for... Could be, they said 2-3 hours after. You don't think she was making noise? Maybe she didn't hear it. I don't know, but the fucking barn's attached to the house, to the attic, right? With no separation. So... I don't know, maybe she's like, wow, what the fuck? This is my first day here. What the fuck does this family do? Holy shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on here? What are they doing? This must be normal, I guess. And then she just, oh, shit. Right?
You're like, wait a minute. The lock on my door doesn't work for some reason. I wonder why they didn't fix that before I arrived. Oh, who's this man?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Are you the butler? Right?
Is it your first day too? Thud. All right.
So, yeah, I don't know. And this is what makes me also think personal. I mean, you mentioned, though, stranger after all these months. But so right after the murders, the murderer remained at the farm or at the house until April 4th. So that's 4 days. And the reason I know this is because the neighbors around said the animals were fed, right? Food was eaten from the house. Chimney smoke observed by the neighbors over multiple days, right? Fireplace was lit. That's how they got heat. I guess it's probably still pretty cool in Germany in March. It's still pretty cool here in March at some days, and especially at night, right? 30s and stuff. And I guess what happened was that he must have slept in like the attic or something like that. He had to sleep among bodies, bro. So it's pretty fucked up. And that's another thing that, like I was going to explain, when I tell you who I think did it, it's not any different. So another thing too that also makes me not think certain people is that all the valuables were left behind in the house. Nothing was taken like that. And the skulls of the bodies were then removed for further study, but ended up getting lost during World War II. So they're gone. So they couldn't get anything off that.
Yeah, what a coincidence. They sent the heads to Munich to be studied by clairvoyants because that's what they believed in Germany back then.
Yes. Yeah. And then they were lost during World War II.
Yeah. But they had... So, yeah, like, days later, the kids didn't show up to school. Or the kid.
Yep.
His 2-year-old's not going to school.
Yeah, sweet.
A farmer passing by recalls noticing 2 figures at the edge of the farm, and when they saw him, they covered their faces, and the farmer just fucking walked away.
Yeah, another one that just like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah,
my problem. Right?
I guess those gentlemen are supposed to be here at this farm where I know everybody except them. And then there was 2 salesmen selling coffee that knocked on the door, but nobody answered because they're dead. Yep. And then they left.
And the mechanic.
The mechanic
showed up to it. The mechanic showed up to the house and was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here for an hour. No one's coming to the door. All right, I'll see you later. Don't worry about it."
Just fucks right off to get some strudel or whatever they eat there.
No one cares.
No one cares. But then the townsfolk finally, they're like, we haven't seen the fucking Grubers in a few days. We need to.
The daughter's not coming to
them.
school. It's been quiet over there.
Yeah.
But right before I just wanted to break down like the psychology of this, right? Mm-hmm. All right, just before we get into the suspects here, and like I was mentioning before, I think it must have been someone known longer than 5 months. And you might disagree with that, but the way everything was done made me feel like this was personal attack. This is a personal attack. The valuables left in the house, right? Taking care of the animals. Didn't have to do that. Eating their food. He just takes their food. But don't take any other stuff. And lighting the fire, staying warm, just living there among the bodies. To me, it wasn't like he didn't know him. Didn't care if he made noise even. So to me, like, I feel like he's making noise. Like, fuck it, if they come and see me, I'll be like, oh yeah, hey, and they're like, oh shit, what are you doing up here? Yeah, you shouldn't be up here, right? Possibly.
It's possible.
The extra that was put into killing Victoria and Andres, right? Victoria has post-death blood force trauma. Andres' face is basically peeled off his skull. These 2 murdered just brutally. I think the mother was just, well, you got to go. The daughter, I think, was, well, yeah, you saw me, and swiftly, no one's going to take care of the kid. Might as well. The 2-year-old obviously isn't going to survive very long. And then the maid, well, I don't want any loose ends. You know what I mean?
I just thought of something.
You thought of something too.
I just thought of the fact that, like, well, nobody's going to take care of this kid. Who am I going to leave him with? This lazy whore that only worked 3 hours and's already knocked out for the night? Like,
yeah, it's already sleeping here? What the fuck? Yeah, I'm not going to leave him. I'd be better off. Yeah. Took care of the cow. Basically took care of the house after the murders is another reason. But I don't know if, like, was the chimney smoke and the taking care of the animals and stuff to trick the neighbors into thinking that the family was still alive, to wait to try to get the next move planned out, or was it just genuinely trying to take care of the animals in the house? Like, I was going back and forth on that. I'm not 100% sure. It might be both, in a way.
Yeah.
But it might have been just to try to throw off. But then you're going to be like, wait, I don't hear all the screaming from the fighting. I don't hear the kids yelling and everything. But the animals are getting fed. That's kind of odd. You know what I mean? Maybe if nothing happened, you're like, oh, they must have went on vacation, to Munich. Yeah. They had that newspaper. Maybe they saw something nice in there they saw. And headed up.
To Munich in 1922.
In Munich.
Something I want to point out before we get into suspects. So the townspeople did finally come to, like, investigate, and they got in, they found the bodies, blah blah blah, all that. Yeah,
I was going to talk about that when I talk about one suspect. Yeah, they do get there. Yeah, but yeah,
they walked all over that property, moving bodies, moving evidence.
It was a clown show, if you ask me.
It was very much so, and this is why I think, this is my theory, that Not just Andreas, not just him, but the whole town was of blind people. And my theory behind that is the fact that they went and searched every inch of that property. And then a year later, the farmstead was demolished. But not until then was the murder weapon found in the attic. So how did all of the arguably this is 100+ people that walked all over their property. How did every single one of them miss a bloody pickaxe in an attic that they knew that they were hearing noises coming from? And you know damn well they'd looked all over that attic. How did they miss a bloody fucking pickaxe?
Just like they couldn't see the fucking guy in the same spot. Probably sat there, stared at him, and he just, we don't see anything up here. Fucking pickaxe in the attic. Yeah.
Business as usual.
It was about a year later they found the murder weapon.
Ugh.
Right? And, I mean, this is all pre-DNA, so, I mean, I guess you can't really get... I don't even know if this is fingerprint. Is there fingerprints being done at this point? 1920s? That maybe it's something I should have looked into. But it's definitely pre-DNA, obviously.
I mean, they're probably doing fingerprints, but they have nothing to put them towards. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't have they obviously didn't have a database with fingerprints in them and stuff like that. They just go back and they look through a composite notebook of all the ink spots. Anything match? Right?
Yeah, they didn't even have Doppler radar back then. Anyway.
Didn't know Doppler. But I guess we can get into suspects, and I'll go through some suspects. The ones I just want to get out of the way fast. That I mean, they say, oh, it could be, but I know it's not, because I know who it is, so I'm just going to... So, we had the I guess, the Beechler brothers. The Bitchler, whatever the fuck they're called. How do you pronounce that? Beechler?
Beechler?
It's the Bichler brothers, right? So, these were seasonal farmhands. And Anton allegedly proposed to the original maid. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
He proposed to the original maid. She rejected him. She basically said, "Nah, piss off." So he was a little disgruntled with her. Maybe he was the one that opening the door at midnight, and he's like, I can't really do it. Yeah, you know what I mean. The motive was said to have been after he confided in her about something, was that he was mistreated and underpaid, which they were saying would be the motive. However, I'm throwing him right out. I'm just throwing it out. I mean, he would know the layout of the farm. He would know the attic is connected to the barn. He would know how to take care for the animals. But what makes me think it's not him is he didn't take any valuables. Like, if you're someone who just murdered this entire family because you thought they underpaid you, wouldn't that be the first thing you do? Is take their shit? That's me.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and I can't. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around murdering a family, including 2 small children, just because I feel underpaid.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get a different job.
For the motive for that. Yeah, exactly. Unless the only thing I could think of here is he was that much of a psychopath, right? And the new maid came in, and he was like, "Oh, she's back." Didn't realize it was a different maid, and he did it. I don't know. Because it's a coincidence that it was the first day this new maid started. Right? I mean, obviously, the killer was staying there for a while, would know the maid just started working. I wonder why the murderer chose to kill the maid first, unless, obviously living with them, maybe he knew, hey, they've been talking about it for a while, we're getting a new maid, and he's like, I gotta wait, because I don't want to fucking kill everyone, and then the maid show up the next day. That's the only thing I can think of why they would wait till the maid got there. And not be, like him. I don't think it was him. Honestly, I don't. There's no reason to kill a 2-year-old baby, or toddler over under being you thinking you're being underpaid and mistreated. That's just me. The kid had nothing to do with it, right? Even if you think, I need to frickin'. And now we also had the Gump. Adolf Gump was also named. I don't know if you saw this guy. So Adolf Gump was named early on for no reason whatsoever. So they named him, I don't know if it's because of the name Adolf, no motive, no evidence. He was just named. He was investigated and cleared. He was named by, I don't know, the neighbor's like, oh, that Adolf Gump seemed kind of suspicious. The only thing he had was he was a far-right, he was in a far-right paramilitary group, like a volunteer mercenary. So he would have, I feel like this is too chaotic, even for, for a military guy of this kind of stature, right? I feel like that it would have been quick, like stealth kills, not this fucking bloody mess. So that's why I don't think Adolf did it either, at all. Right, do you have any other...
Well, for the Gump brothers, it was their sister also that confessed on her deathbed to 2 priests that her brothers killed the family. And then Adolf died in World War II, and then Anton, his brother, denied it. Anton was
Beechler.
Beechler.
Is that who you talk about, the Beechler brothers?
I don't know. I thought there was another Anton.
Maybe there is.
I think there's 2.
Gump.
I think so. Because then the brother of Adolf, who I guess went to jail, confessed to his cellmate that he's like, oh well, Adolf told me that he did the whole thing, and nothing really ever came of it. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was him. I don't
think so either. No.
I think it was just a bunch of bullshit said on a deathbed. Another Joseph. We have Joseph Bart. I don't know. They suspected him he was never, like, no one said, oh, check Joseph, but the reason he was on the suspect, like, he was a mentally unstable robber that was in the area. And, I mean, if you go on this without knowing anything else, it seems like a mentally unstable robber would be doing something the way he did it. Especially if they're like homeless. However, nothing was stolen, right? Everything was left. Unless he planned on taking all the shit after staying there for a while and got screwed when the neighbors investigated. Alright, and checked on this stuff. Which leads me to another suspect, Lorenz, right? The one neighbor, Lorenz.
The neighbor with the garage.
Schlittenbauer. Yeah. Schlittenbauer, right? He was part of the Discovery Group. And at first he sent his 16-year-old and 9-year-old son, actually I think the 9-year-old was his stepson, to check on the farm. Oh, something's going on over there. Nothing's been going on. Send your kids over first, right?
Send the stepson that I don't love.
They died, yeah. Send them over. Of course, and this goes along with your theory that everyone was blind. The kids came back and said they didn't see anyone. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
Oh, imagine that.
So he got 2 other neighbors to go and investigate. And this is where it kind of gets weird. And then oh my god, my cat just literally scared the fucking piss out of me. I thought it was fucking... I thought it was the next one. Dude, the door How did you open the door?
Dude, your cat did this last time, too. You need new locks on your doors.
Holy shit. Dude, that scared me so bad. That scared me so bad because I closed the door. I remember closing the door to a click, and the door just swung open. I was like, holy fuck. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, while I'm talking on the mic, I saw this black shadow, and it was my cat. Yo, what are you doing, bro? You scared? Oh, my God. All right. I thought I was next. I thought I was a goner. I thought I was going to pick it.
You said Schlittenbauer 3 times, and your cat appeared.
So... Fucking weird, right? And again, this is where it gets kind of weird. Back on here. Fucking cat. He went to the barn first. Goes right to the barn. Right? And boom, there's the 4 bodies. Oh, look at this. And then goes from the barn to the house, and the other 2 that are with them said that he entered the house extremely easily and found the other 2 bodies. Which would make me think he had the house keys. Now, the house keys, and I was going to mention this later on when I talk about the person I think actually did it, could have been something else and just happened to be at the same time and wasn't actually related to the murders. All right. And I guess I'll just get into it now. So, allegedly he had a romantic relationship with Victoria, right? Lorenz. Yeah. The youngest was obviously too young because Victoria, I don't think I mentioned yet, is a widow. The 7-year-old is fine. Her husband died in World War One, 7 years before, and the kid's 7 years old. That one was supposed to be his kid, the daughter. However, the son's only 2, right? So obviously it's not his. That's where they're trying to think of maybe it was the neighbors. So the keys, as I was going to mention, might not have been to do with the murder. What if Victoria took the keys to give to the neighbor for a little, hey, at night, you can come on in, and when no one's looking, sneak into the house. You know what I mean?
So that's the thing. That's the thing we need to mention about old Victoria. She was kind of the town bicycle. Now, that's the...
Yeah.
This is a nice way of putting it, because the maid, the alive one, that quit, the smart one.
Yes, I was going to mention the big quote from her later on too.
Yeah, she had gone on record saying that people had come to her window asking if Victoria was home.
Yes. Is Victoria home? Yeah.
Hey, is your door locked?
I think she gave him the keys. And of course, now that there's a murder, he's not going to fuck. Oh yeah, here's the other set of keys. You're not going to do that, dude, because I know I'm not doing that. So they went fucking missing, and that's how he got in the house. So he had a set of keys from Victoria because he's doing a little something with her. And Victoria, yeah, we'll get into Victoria in a little bit. But on top of that, with the romantic relationship with Victoria and everything, he acted weird when questioned. Some people said, the cops said that he knew details that are a little too specific, for the murders, although he's the one that found them. But he wasn't a trained crime scene investigator, I don't think. So, even though he found the bodies, he shouldn't know some of the stuff, because the bodies were moved. So, how would he know this unless you studied, blood splatter and shit? That's what I'm getting at here. So, it was a little weird with that, too. But again, I don't think he's the one that did it. They also mentioned that his alibi and defense were weak. Now, the problem is, he's the neighbor, you know what I mean? How are you going to have... You might not have to... I mean, if my neighbor's murdered next door, and I'm sitting here doing a freaking podcast, and I'm like, I was next door doing a podcast. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Obviously it's not a strong defense. I'm right next to him. So that's why I'm like, okay, you're saying his alibi's weak, but he lives next door. I mean, what is he supposed to do? You know what I mean? He's not going to be gone all the time. So that was the neighbor. And I don't think he did it either. Do you have any other suspects you want to talk about before I get into who did it? Because I have who did it right here in front of me.
Well, there's the Schreier brothers.
Okay.
In 1971, someone wrote to police about hearing their mother speaking to a friend about her sons admitting to murdering them and losing a knife, which a whole year after the murders, when they finally found that murder weapon, there was a penknife that was laying next to the axe. Well. And the brothers were working near there where the murders took place, so they were nearby. Now, we did mention, you did say get a dog earlier, so apparently they had a dog, which brings up, it can't be a random drifter like I thought it would be, because it would have triggered the dog. If the dog's not barking, the dog knows the people. Yeah, I just remembered this. Yeah, they had a dog, but dog was fine. Didn't kill the dog.
Get a different dog then.
Get a better dog. Yeah. Fucking useless.
Again, the dog's blind too?
They're all blind.
Is this whole area blind? You're onto something here, Josh.
I think so. It's the occult. Everyone went blind because they didn't believe. Anyway, yeah, I don't think... I wanted it to be a drifter just because it makes for a creepier story. If you've seen that movie Strangers, it's very creepy because it's just, strangers for no reason. Yeah. Just wanted to do it. But, yeah, the fact that the dog didn't get triggered or bark or anything like that, they definitely knew the person. So
how many dogs do they have?
Just one.
Just one? Maybe the dog's just blind or dumb.
Useless blind dog. But yes, so now, people like to think it's Paul Mueller, who was a suspected serial killer responsible for axe murders across the U.S. in the 1900s, and think maybe he fled the U.S. when things got too hot and went to Europe and then started up again. But, what are the odds? Now,
could be.
I know you already have said that you know who did it, and I would love to hear... All right, go ahead. Tell me who did it.
I have two. But the one... it's fringe, but this one's the one, I think, the one that really did it. But I have a fringe that could have done it too if this one falls through. But I think it was... You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this? Carl Gabriel. Now, who's that, you say?
Who?
Well, if you remember, Victoria's last name's Gabriel. This is the dead husband. Okay? This is what I want to get into here. Apparently he died during World War I in 1914. However, the body was never recovered. Okay? Now, the evidence against this being Carl would be that he was identified apparently by his commanding officers. Now, why wasn't the body recovered then? If the commanding officers were able to identify the body, the commanding officers are not on the front line. I'm sorry, you can say whatever you want. They are not on the front line if he dies from a shelling, which they said. Okay? And I feel like if it's a shelling, you're not identifying the body anyway. But, I it's a little odd there. So, a commanding officers identify him, never recover the body, though. He's left, apparently, on the front lines. Even if they saw him go down, say they were on the front lines, they saw him go down, you didn't recover the body. How do you know he's actually dead? Unless he's shredded apart, then you can identify him. He could have been unconscious, right? Something could have happened. He could have been concussed. But the other thing too on this is, remember when I said, there was a fight between Victoria and her father? Right? Remember I mentioned that? Remember I mentioned the whole thing with the maid saying the family dynamics? Right? She didn't like the family dynamics. I have a quote from her. Okay? I have a quote from the maid during a thing. All right. Let me quote this. Now, it's translated from German, so it's a little odd. But I was aware of the young peasant girl, meaning Victoria, having sexual intercourse with her father.
Ooh.
One day in spring of 1921, I came into the barn to get the old Gruber, the father, help with refilling a water bucket or barrel. When I got to the barn, I met Gruber lying about in the straw after practicing sexual intercourse with his daughter. I knew for certain I was seen by the Victoria, because afterwards she said, if I knew you were coming into the barn, I would not have given in to him. Now, what we got going on here? Now, you mentioned that she was the town bicycle. I mean, she's taken it extremely too far, right? I mean, she's given in to her own father. Pretty terrible. Oh, God, it's disgusting. So she also heard Andres telling Victoria she doesn't need to marry anyone anymore as long as he is alive. He is for this there, implying sexually satisfying her.
He's like, what, 67 years old?
He was 63 years old.
What the
His daughter
fuck?
was 35. She's also banging the neighbor, allegedly. And a bunch of men are always coming today. Is Victoria home? Right? So, like, her father on top of that. This is so disgusting. Like,
God damn.
Yeah, obviously, as long as I'm alive, I'm here for that. No, obviously not. She's getting it everywhere.
Yeah.
Fuck, right? So, I'll paint this picture, right? You come home, you finally find your way home, right? You're shell-shocked whenever you're left on the front lines. Trying to find your way back. I don't know. It didn't mention if he knew or... I mean, I guess she moved in with her parents, I guess, on the farm after the whole thing. He finds out where they live, gets back to her somehow. I mean, however long it takes. And he stumbles upon... Obviously, he knows this is what his father-in-law looks like, right? With relations with his own daughter. The guy's own daughter, right? His wife. Thought he was dead. Then there's all of a sudden this 2-year-old. And you're like, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, so daughter's mine, but 2 years doesn't make any sense. Could be some motives for revenge, right?
Yeah. Especially if you're shell shocked and you're a little bit out of your
PTSD
mind.
bad.
Yeah. And then you come home after a long, hellish journey thinking, oh, I'm finally home. And then this is what you arrive to. It'll make anyone go crazy.
Exactly. I think it would. So the daughter was his. And she was old enough to be his. But seeing this kid, obviously, the son was not. The son could have been, I guess, Jesus. Name any of them, I guess, right? But it could have been, Andre's grandson, right? Jesus Christ. And then on top of this, soldiers said that they seen him after his allegedly was killed. And even soldiers came out and said that he faked his death and deserted because he didn't want to be in the military anymore.
Yeah, they said something along the lines of didn't he leave and then join up with the Russians? Or
yeah,
I read something like that.
So apparently there was a Soviet commander in World War II, though, who spoke German, who resembled him. So this is obviously 20 years later now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, maybe. If he's then like, fuck this, fuck the Germans, right? They're all nuts. The fuck out of here, I'm going to the Soviets. But the thing is, especially in Germany, if you're fighting for Germany, right, during World War I and World War II, it was, you're not deserting. It was total war. They thought they were the better thing. So he might not have, he had to have stayed away. He might not have been, so if he faked his death and deserted, he cannot come around for a while. So he waited a few years, right? He hid for 7 years, maybe 6, 7 years, waiting for the heat to come off before he started coming around. Because if he was seen prior to this, he would have been executed for desertion. You know what I mean? Maybe the commanders were in on it. Oh yeah, it was him that killed. They didn't want him to see him. Whatever. Yeah, he died. I saw him. But this guy's military trained, right? So he can live. Move around in the attic, stealth. Obviously, he wasn't stealthy though during some of this time, so he just made all kinds of fucking noise. But maybe the maid was saying, paranormal ghost stories and stuff. Maybe she caught a glimpse of him once, and she's like, "No, he's dead." You know what I mean? That's a ghost. There's no fucking way. And the whole paranormal thing, because she changes her story later on. She keeps at first she's mentioning all this stuff about actual reasons, like, not paranormal reasons, but like actual reasons, like, oh, the family was fucked up. The men always come to my fucking window asking about Victoria. The seasonal help always, trying to hit on me and all this stuff. I need to get out of here. And then later on, she moves to, it was paranormal, right? It was paranormal. It was ghosts. There was paranormal stuff going on. And maybe she saw him, right? And was like, oh, he's dead. It can't be. And, obviously, he would probably be pissed off his wife if, dude, I would fucking, I don't know what I would do if I was him and I came home to that situation. So I would think I would go pretty insane too. And then on top of it, like I was mentioning before, this person lived in the house for 4 days with bodies. Now, if he was in World War I, he would have no problem sleeping next to dead bodies because he would have had to have done it in World War I. In the trench warfare, right? They'd get up, they'd run trenches, boom, fucking try to move trench to trench, and you're just getting lit up by machine guns on the way, right? And then people are dead all over the place, and you're in there. This guy stays in the house for 4 days with a bunch of dead bodies. You know what I mean? That's the connection I'm making. Like his seeing what like war and World War One, getting desensitized to like seeing dead bodies and stuff like that makes me believe that he could have easily stayed in the house for 4 days before saying, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Then maybe he saw the kids coming around, right? And he's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out. He dipped, and then the search party came. So there's that. He's the person I so suspect to do this. And, oh, he's dead. What are you talking about, Joe? You stupid fuck. I just explained to you why he's not dead. You know what I mean? Like I asked AI, like, don't you think this guy could have done it? Like, no, he's dead. And I'm like, you're stupid. And then I was looking at there's testimony from other soldiers stating that no, he saw him alive after that.
Yeah.
So that's who I think actually did it. Do you want me to go into another that could possibly be right?
Absolutely.
Before we go into, if you have another, do you have another suspect who you
one.
know? This is the guy. You think that's the guy who did it, right? Who you have left?
I have one last one.
Is that the guy who did it? Well, we know who did it. Carl. But,
yeah.
Yeah, but who you think did it? Is that who you think did it?
Yeah, and this is just because I am the cryptid killer, so I have to get into this a little real quick.
Okay.
This is Bavaria. We're talking. Who lives in Bavaria? None other than Krampus.
Oh.
Maybe Krampus got wind of this incest bullshit going on.
Oh my god.
And decided he had to punish this fucking family. I mean, he shows up thinking like, oh, I'm going to beat this guy for incest, but then he's finding all these other issues. Like, you know, these people are blind. This guy built a house with a fucking barn that connects to his attic. He's not changing his locks. He's not listening to his maid. You know, they all got to die. And then he takes it a little too far with, you know, bashing their skulls in and ripping jaws off and shit. But then he just leaves. No traces of him because he's Krampus and he can do that.
He's Krampus. He can do. Yeah. You know what? That's actually, I like that.
See?
Obviously, Carl did it, but I like that. I do like that.
Well,
now, like I was saying, to mention the set of keys probably had nothing. I think the set of keys had nothing to do with the murder. I think Victoria gave a set of keys away to the house because so they didn't have to knock on the new maid's window. Yo, is Victoria home? They can just walk in, you know, full service and leave. Don't have to worry about fucking waking anyone else up. All the shuffling in the attic. I mean, who knows? All the shuffling in the attic, like I mentioned before. You know, it's only two people hearing all the shuffling. Did Victoria tell these people, hey, just go through the attic? The attic's fucking connected to the barn. This is the stupidest layout in the world. I just come through the attic. I'll be up there.
Come through the attic. I promise you there's not a murderer up there. If you see one, no, you don't. And then just keep going. Fucking
maybe, because I mean, someone killed him. So my last thing, now I think it was really Carl, but I kind of said this, kind of came up with this too, because it kind of could, maybe not. Maybe it was Andre himself. Now before you get it, his face was destroyed, right? They mentioned his face was basically shredded. His cheekbones are sticking out, and you have no DNA in 1922. Could that be perhaps someone who was just similar height and build, but not actually be Andre that he fucking killed? Right? Maybe one of Victoria's other lovers he was mad about. Could be, right? So we had the big fight the night before the murder. Literally the night before. A big fight. All right? She could have been like, you know what, Dad, this is really disgusting. You know, the town people are starting to catch on, apparently, because it was mentioned at church and stuff. Someone mentioned, hey, these two are incest. That's what the maid said.
He did get arrested for it.
He got arrested for it. Yeah, for a year.
Yeah, he served time.
He served time for this. So she's probably like, listen, Dad, we can't be doing this anymore. The townsfolk are catching on. No one else wants to. It's slowing down. The people aren't coming to the farm anymore like they used to, banging on the windows asking for me. They know what's going on here. We can't do this anymore. You know, it's hurting me, and that's why he's mad. Oh no, I'll take care of you. You know, as long as I'm alive. Yeah, they didn't have Viagra back then either, for you old fuck. So you had the big fight the night before. You know, she could have been trying to end it, and maybe he tried again the following night, and it didn't work, right? Or could they've been in the barn and Andre's wife walk in on this, but then the other guy would have had to have been, and he just drugged the other guy there maybe, but they did the autopsy, said the guy died first, so I think he was setting up the murder. She might not have walked in on this. I think it didn't work, so he was trying to, you know, following, I try to get with her. maybe the noise in the attic, all that noises was, apparently they were the only ones hearing it. Maybe the wife did hear it, but it was just either them fighting upstairs or maybe just intercourse up in the attic all the time. Where are they going to hide? Maybe she's, she's 72. She ain't climbing the ladder to get up in the attic, maybe. You know what I mean?
Fucking fall and break a hip.
So they're climbing up in the attic. Oh, no, we're going to look at all the noise in the attic. There's a bunch of noise up there. Don't worry. We're going to go check it out. Come on, Victoria. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just to try to hide it from her. Like, they're going up in the attic to do it, whatever. Only Andres saw the footsteps to the shed. No one else saw this. No one else mentioned seeing it. No one else corroborated her statement about these footsteps. Could this have been setting up something later on? Oh, someone was breaking into the shed. Because he's going to plan a murder. That's why he's telling all the fucking neighbors. You know what I mean? That's what pointed me towards that. Like, why are you being so loud about all this shit? Then when the neighbor's like, do you need help? He's like, no. Should we call the cops? No. That's all right. Why would you do that? The whole thing with him being a fucking I can't use that word, I guess. Just a moron. Right? It might have been on purpose. He's trying to set up that there's going to be a murder in the house. He can no longer bang Victoria.
And
he wanted to avoid being caught. He already went to jail for a year for banging. I mean, why can't he just, stop trying, just find something else. Find someone you're not related to. You know what I mean? Stop.
And the fact that people are going to say, like, well, he was too old to have carried out the murders. This man was farming his whole life, and he was still stallion enough for Victoria at that age. So he could absolutely murder everybody.
Exactly. So he didn't care. All this shit's going on. Every time you go in the attic, oh, there's nothing here. Keys go missing. I don't give a fuck. Maid saying all this shit. I don't care. Telling all my neighbors about everything going on, but then not asking for help. The neighbor's like, call the cops. No, I'm not going to do it. Right? I think one of the guys came over that Victoria was having whatever with. He was pissed. He's like, no, I told you. I'm the one that does this. You know what I mean? Kills him in the fucking barn. He's like, come have a talk with me. Come have a talk with me. I gotta talk to you. Kills him. Right? Broadside him from the right. He thought Victoria was coming. He was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. I'm murdering her too. I'm gonna get away with this. It's not. It's his own wife. Kills her. Then Victoria comes. He's like, fuck this. Kills her. Oh, shit. My granddaughter saw this. Fuck. Well, kills her. Obviously, at this point, he doesn't give a fuck. Walks into the house. He's like, you know what? I just hired the maid. But, obviously no one's going to take care of the kid. Kills the 2-year-old. Maid. She just got hired. She sucks. Kills her. Knows how to tend to his animals. Obviously, he's been with them this whole time, and he's a farmer. He's like, oh, I gotta do it. I gotta tend to the animals. And that's why he stayed in the house, because it's his house. Where's else is he gonna go? Tends to the animals, eats the food. It's his food, right? Has to stay warm, lights the fires, and then all of a sudden there's these kids poking around. He's like, I really can't keep killing people, and he fucking takes off. The guy just happened to be someone that looks similar to him, but he's like, it doesn't look like me in the face. So he scraped the fucking face off. He's budging until he scraped the face off. And he got away with it because he covered it all up by all this going on. He was done. He was pissed off at his daughter. He stayed in the house because he had to know where to go. And then he finally took off.
Well, I don't think it was this one. I do think it was the husband of Victoria. But
you don't think it was Andres? You don't think it was him?
No, it's clever. It's absolutely
And then he covered them all
possible.
up because he felt bad.
Because he felt bad.
They were all his family. He lived with them. He had to cover them up.
Yeah. He let his granddaughter fucking writhe in pain for 2.5 hours.
He couldn't finish it off. He couldn't finish her off. He did care. He was like, I can't. I literally can't. He saw what happened. He's like, I really can't. I can't finish her off. Let me just really lay her with her mother. Cover her up.
I prefer to think it was Krampus.
It could have been Krampus. Now, do I think it was Krampus? No. I think it was Carl. But Andre makes a very compelling case the way I brought it up, I think. It's one of them two. Carl brings back the conspiracy, the cover up, and everything for the murder, like him dying. But Andres is still a very good suspect. It's one of them two. I lean towards Carl, but it's one of them too. It's not fucking Adolf. It's not any of the other. Everyone else is confessing to it. Everyone else on their deathbed confesses to it. So they can be like, oh, you look at me. I'm the one that did it on their deathbed to get a little bit of fame before they fucking die. Or, siblings. In their dementia, state where they don't know what's going on because they're literally dying. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that word for anything. You really can't. A lot of them.
No, I feel like we solved it. I think we did. It was definitely one of the two, which is narrow enough considering the fact that there's hundreds of suspects.
There's a lot of suspects, yeah. I only touched on a few that kind of would make any sense, really. There's obviously the lunatic robber, which, would do something crazy like this, right? But he would steal stuff from the house. You know what I mean? Like, he would take stuff. He didn't take anything. That's why I was like, Carl or Andre. And you know what's funny? When I was writing this and everything, I was really leaning Carl, and I was like, Carl's the one that did it. Now that I've described both of them on the cast, like, now I'm leaning towards Andres. I'm leaning towards Andres now after actually stating and reading it again out, like saying it out loud.
Well, it also makes sense because if the original maid locked her door at night, but it was still getting unlocked and opened, yeah, he would have the key. So, and then she would complain about noises in the attic. He's like, oh, you're just hearing things. So, yeah.
Don't worry about the noise coming from the attic, the voices and the shuffling around. I'm just,
Yeah. Just banging my daughter up there. Just leave me alone. Fuck's sake.
Disgusting. Fuck. Jesus. You have any privacy around here? Yeah. No, maybe you should have it so your attic didn't go to the fucking barn. Maybe you get more privacy if it wasn't fucking one big giant fucking corridor of nonsense.
Maybe seal your attic. There's bad ventilation up there, you piece of shit.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit, dude.
Maybe the noise you're hearing is all the fucking rodents that come in from the goddamn barn into your attic. You asshole. What's the matter with you? Of course you're going to hear noise. You let nature into your home. What are you doing? Fuck's sake.
Maybe all the fumes from the barn. Like animal stool, like certain animals, doesn't their stool like produce like a methane gas?
That must have reeked.
Like this methane gas comes from certain animal stool, right? Doesn't that fuck with your brain?
Eventually, yeah. So, horse shit turned this old German man insane because he had a hole in his attic, and then he killed his family.
Yeah, it made him go insane. He started, having sexual relations with his own daughter because of how insane he got, and then it ended him and turned him into actually murdering his whole family.
I think we figured it out.
Yeah, it might have been actually Yeah, I don't think it was Carl now anymore. I think it was Andres.
Yeah, I think we solved this one. See, folks, that's what we do. That's what we do.
It's what we do. We are the best at taking a big cornucopia of nonsense and sifting through all the different things to find the one bad apple in there, right? We know what it is. We know the ingredients, right? And it all came down to because the fucking ass didn't know how to separate his house and barn, and he wanted it connected. You know what I mean? This whole thing would have been fine if he just moved his house away from the fucking barn instead of having them connected. There is no reason to connect your barn and the house. There's no fucking house and barn in the United States where the barn is connected to the house with a walkway through the attic.
No, you know what's connected to the house? The garage. You keep cars in there, not animals. Yeah. Also, don't have it go directly to your fucking attic. That's weird.
It's weird.
It's just weird.
It was like set up to be a murder house.
It was that exactly. This house was perfectly designed to get him killed. There you go. That's my tagline.
Yeah. Ugh. But he did all the killing. And again, like I said, the keys going missing was just something that the daughter, I think they were off there. They were fighting. He wasn't getting any. She wasn't getting any from him anymore because they were fighting. He didn't want to cough. So she gave the keys to someone else. Maybe the guy, that's the guy who actually ended up being murdered and his face scraped off. But she gave the keys away because she needed some. She wanted someone to get in the house without having to be, knocking on windows. Especially if there's going to be a new maid. The new maid on the first night doesn't want some random guy knocking on the window that's in Victoria's home, right? You don't want another one quitting already. You're going to go without a maid. You want a maid. They went up without a maid for 6 months. That must have sucked.
That house must have been a pigsty.
Yeah. You think Victoria was cleaning the house?
No.
No, she was too busy, whatever she was doing, like you said, the town bicycle.
Well. Ugh. God damn it.
I do feel bad for the kids, though. They didn't deserve it.
No, of course not. I do feel that had Andreas drank more Ovaltine, he wouldn't have let the fumes go to his head.
Yeah.
Which
true.
He could have been drinking it because it was invented in 1904. So it was around. He had the option.
It was around. Yes.
He had the option.
He should have been drinking it.
He had the option, but did he take it? No. No, he did not. No. And now he's dead.
He's dead because of it. No, he's not dead. He's the one that did it.
Well.
They should have put a little Ovaltine in the baby bottle, too. But
that kid would have been fucking buff as shit. Would have been like Jack from Incredibles.
Yeah, they would have came in to drop the pickaxe and it would have bounced off his head and the kid would have came up and snapped the guy's neck. That's what would have happened. You heard it here. You got to give your kids Ovaltine.
Yeah, just put it in the baby bottle. It'll grow up big and strong. They invented it to fight malnutrition, so it works.
It does work. I know it works. I do it. I drink it all the time. Do you have anything else you want to add to this? Any other suspects? Any other? I mean, we solved it. Is there anything else you want to let our listeners know?
Don't have your barn connected to your attic via a weird hole in the wall.
Yeah, I don't do that. Never do that. Yeah, don't. It doesn't make sense at all. So, I also want to mention to you guys before we sign off here, we started a little merch shop, right? It's finally kind of open. The only thing on there right now, because we're working on new designs, is the JD collection, the Jersey Devil collection. You'll find us on bonfire.com. We have a store on there. We're gonna start putting our merch on there. We're gonna do like a cryptid collection, right? Other collections, cryptid killer collection, paranormal collection, alien collection, maybe. And then we're gonna do some stuff with fundraising for cancer. Proceeds go to cancer with some of our stuff. That's something we're gonna work on to see what kind of designs will come up with that. And then that stuff will go directly to cancer. So if you want to go on there on bonfire.com and search Conspiracy Kitchen Podcast, you'll find our official shop. Once I can get back on X, I don't know what happened. I can't sign into X right now. I will put the link on there. Also put the link in the Spotify description on here, which will then be on all the other stuff because Spotify's our host and the description will go on everything else. So I'll put it in there. I'll put it on X when I can get back into X. Again, if you guys are listening for the first time or whatever, if you're in Germany and you liked what you hear, give us a follow if you're not following us yet. Rate us 1 star, whatever you want to do. It's greatly appreciated. We're just trying to grow. We're going to have that merch store to get more publicity out there so other people can see, hey, what's this Conspiracy Kitchen all about? We're trying any way we can get our name out there more because we haven't really, I haven't spent the money on big advertising campaigns, if you will. We're trying to go by word of mouth, and we're going to slowly try to build up more awareness for the brand.
Yes, and we really do appreciate you guys sticking with us this whole time. There's also, if I may, another podcast that I'm a part of, the Spooky Swans podcast. This is a mainly horror movie discussion podcast with my wife and myself. If you want to check that out, please do. We recently did an episode talking about the old movie Dead Alive, which is one of the goriest movies of all time. So if you want to hear us rant about that, go for it. If not, do it anyway.
Is there a movie about this exact topic?
I think there is. I've not watched it, but I plan to if there is one because it is a very interesting topic. Like, as gruesome and horrible as this whole thing is, it is still a very interesting story. So I would love to watch a movie on this.
Yeah, and also there is a Bell Witch movie, and I was one of the ones that suggested to them because they take listener suggestions. Maybe listen to that movie and do a review of it, and maybe this one. We all know who did it, but we'll see what the what Hollywood says did it or how it played out. That'd be pretty nice to hear.
Yeah, I'll discuss it with my wife. I think we will down the road. We'll do that. I'm also planning on because when we do each episode, we spin a wheel, which has a bunch of different like subgenres of horror on it, and we choose that, and then we pick a movie based in that like kind of topic. So last week was gore, which is why we did Dead Alive. But I think down the road, I'm going to pick 1 week out of the month where I force her to watch like a Tubi original and just pick the worst movie imaginable. So,
that works.
Keep an eye out for that.
All right, guys. If you listen on here and haven't gone over to the Spooky Swan, just give them a listen. Check them out. Give them a follow, rate. Continue to listen to us here. All those 94% of people that follow us but haven't rated yet, can you just if you could give us a rating? It helps us with the algorithm. Other than that, I have nothing else left. So I guess we'll play out with some Simulated Sun, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Last night you told me that our love's not real.